Hey everybody, and for today's Progressive Programming workout, we're going to go ahead and begin with a little skill work. Now, this isn't our traditional skill for this month, but we're going to see some of this get up practice. Now, in today's session, we're going to go ahead and complete 4 to 5 sets on a Turkish get up, building to a strong effort. Now, keep in mind, we must be able to maintain good mechanics throughout the full range of motion. And at the same time, we must be able to complete the same weight on the right and the left side before we decide to increase the weight. So if we feel like we're really strong on one side and kind of lacking the positioning or the range of motion on the other side, then that just means we're going to stay at that weight and work on increasing our capacity to maintain good mechanics throughout the full range of motion, going from the ground all the way out overhead. Now, at the same time, if we are limited in that range of motion overhead, then what we can do is modify this to a sandbag getup. Now, whether we're using a sandbag, whether it's a bumper plate or a medicine ball, let's just make sure that we're practicing with some form of a getup. Now, at the same time, if we can't sustain holding on to a load as we get through that pattern, then maybe what we should be focusing on is just increasing our ability to move through those ranges of motion, starting from the ground and getting yourself up off the ground with just one hand. And then from there, we can maybe start to add a little bit added load. Now, once we have completed off this Turkish get up skill work, we're going to go ahead and transition into 10 minutes. We got as many rounds and reps as possible in 10 minutes, going from 12 wall ball shots to 8 hand release push-ups, followed by 4 wall walks. Now, this is pretty straightforward. Starting out on the wall balls, make sure that we're hitting hip crease below parallel and the target at the top. If you miss that target at the top, hold yourself accountable to that rep and no rep it. If you miss it, repeat that rep. And if you miss it again, then take a second, step away from the wall, reset, reorganize, and then continue to proceed to complete a good rep. Now, after that, the hand release push-ups, make sure that we are maintaining a planked body position. So if we feel like we need to resort to going to a knee position with the hand release position, that's okay. But what we want to make sure that we're watching out for is avoiding the wormed push-up at all costs. So no matter what happens, if we find ourselves having to worm ourselves up, then let's take it to an incline position or using a band around the waist for assistance to maintain that planked position. We want to stay nice and static and keep the midline from moving. So static, not a dynamic spine. And then lastly, the wall walk. Now, if we are having a hard time with the hand release push-ups, then likely we're going to see a little challenge with the wall walking getting inverted. So if we are unable to get ourselves inverted, then let's modify this to a bear crawl. Maybe it's a 4-foot out and back on the bear crawl. So bear crawl out 4 feet, bear crawl back 4 feet. Otherwise, let's work on getting our feet up on the wall and maybe taking one step with each hand. Just make sure that you're able to return to that front foot. So if you step back with your right, step back with your left, step forward with the right, step forward with the left. That way we're ending the rep from the same position we started from. That's it for today.